Hi boys and girls, Brucey here. Yes, I've updated my pedal board again, so I thought I'd give you another run through because it was quite a popular video that I did last time. So what have we done? Yes, I'm still using the atomic amplifier, absolutely loving this. It's a permanent feature now on my board. But what I've done here and why I've updated the board is to give me a whole bunch of different options that I didn't have before. In particularly, I did a couple of gigs recently where I used a proper amp, my Cornford amp, and I love using that, but then I had to repatch my pedal board and rewire it and everything just to use that amp. So I thought, why not use this setup and make it available for both, just going direct to the PA, or if I want to go into an amplifier, it doesn't really matter. So that's what I've done, and I've done that by either using the amplifier as a modeler simply, with a couple of different models set up now on the presets. So I just preset up and down to switch between different amp models. Before I was using the MIDI mouse. I found that gave me lots of options, but I wasn't really using that many. Basically a good clean amp and a clean amp with a couple of effects, and then a Friedman, which is basically 3. So currently, straight out of the back of the amplifier, I can go straight into the PA and into the monitoring system, or alternatively I can go into just using the right output of that into an amp, such as the Blues Junior, which I've got there. I'm not using that at the moment, but yeah, the board comes out here and I just run that plug into an amplifier. Or if I wanted to, I've got the best of both worlds. I can run into an amplifier on stage, defeat the cab simulation in the amplifier on that output, and use the balanced outputs direct into the desk with a cab simulation. So another option there. So many options. But currently I'm just using an amp model and an amp simulator going into a desk, and you can hear So I'll explain what's happening here. So firstly, I have my Strat here. It's a Strat with humbucker in the bridge, hot rails in the bridge I should say, and single coils, typical Strat setup there. I go out of the line 6 G30 into wireless into the wireless receiver here. The signal then comes into the Jerry Cantrell wah. I did have a Vox wah before, but that's actually broken now. So this was my backup wah, so I'm having to use this at the moment. Actually, I really love it anyway. It's a very throaty vocal kind of wah, and I love the fact you've got this knob on the side so you can adjust the frequency cutoff of the toe position, which is pretty cool. We come out of the wah into the tuner, standard bog standard Boss tuner. Using this rather than the smaller poly tune that I own because it's got another output, and getting loads of always powering pedal boards is always problematic, so it's nice that this has got an extra output which I run to another pedal off the back of my T-Rex Junior, which only has 5 outputs, and I try if possible not to have to daisy chain at all. In a sense that's daisy chaining, but never mind. So we come out of there, a new pedal on the board, or not a new pedal, but one I haven't used for a while and I love is the Qtron. I really missed having this and I had a space, so it came back on. So the Qtron's back, we come out of the Qtron into a compressor. It's the Muir yellow compressor, not the best compressor in the world, but pretty good compressor. I would like to get a boutique compressor like the Ego, One Plot Ego compressor or something like that, but I don't know if this is going to be a permanent feature on the board yet. It's mostly for doing, kind of giving the quiet sound a bit more oomph over the distorted sound, and making the sounds a bit more comparable, and obviously compressing for the more funky stuff. Yeah, lovely sounding compressor there. So out of the Muir into the POG. Now the POG is on. I don't use that a lot in the function work I do, although sometimes just to beef up the solo line. primarily use it when I'm using this board for doing looping, so it gives me lots of options of different sounds. I've got a Boss looper I sometimes use, or if I'm just doing slight demonstrations, I use the looper function in the timeline. So that's what that's there for. Next pedal up, the fantastic, amazing Soul Food, the Clone. Great pedal, great mid-sounding, clean, transparent pedal. Sounds great as well into the amplifier. Just a nice amount of grind there. I'm now going to put it in the hot rails position, so you get really makes the guitar jump out and keeps the nature of the sound of the guitar coming out. Really love this pedal. I switch these around sometimes in terms of the gain staging. Currently this way, because this gives more kind of gain to the whole system, although it kind of works well if you switch them around. And you use this as a kind of mid boost for the Riot. So why have I got the Riot? Primarily if I'm going into using this system to go into an amp, so I can get that 80s distortion sound. Although if I'm just using the amplifier, then I might use this as a boost and use the Strymon model on there, which I have set up. So it's to give me options really. And if I run this now, gain stages. So I get more gain and I get a bit of a mid boost. Works quite well. The other way around, it really gives you a high mid boost, so it's quite good as a solo booster. Horses for courses, really. I mix it up, but it always play around with gain stages, it's fun. And talking of which, I have the F1 booster. This is pretty much always on my board because I love the way it makes the strap sound. And on top of that, it boosts all these should I need to. So say I'm really loud, and you know how it goes sometimes. Quite loud. Good for a solo boost if everything else isn't working. So from out of the F1, we go into this again. Don't need to have it on there. I've got the amplifier. It's got effects in there, but I do love something about this pedal. Works really well. So we come out of the MXR, then into the volume pedal. Again, can set this if things are too loud or too quiet during the gig. Just gives you quite easy access to doing that. I run it at the end of the chain so I can control the overall volume here, and also the volume before it goes into the delay, so that my delay repeats and everything like that aren't affected if I change the volume of that, or you can just do it with swells and things like that. That kind of thing. Works quite well. So speaking of which, so we come out the volume pedal into the timeline. Got a number of different presets there. Love the timeline. It's probably my favourite pedal. So many options. The ability to do things like tremolo and different kind of modulations effects. So it means you don't need loads of modulation pedals as well. Although obviously it's not a modulation effect, but you get those kind of nice swirly things, which is good enough for me. So we then go out of the timeline into the amplifier. So I've got a number of presets there, mostly clean. I've got a clean, and then first there's a clean one. Go up, clean, a bit louder clean, shall I need it? And then we've got my freedom preset. I'm then using this now to switch in, oh it's not working, I haven't fully sorted out, switch in one effect per for channels. So probably on this one, I think it's, I haven't set it up yet properly, but it will switch in the boost. So I've got another boost channel or a delay or a chorus should I want to per patch. So I think that's quite flexible given I've got enough things going on here already. The other thing with the amplifier is if I'm not using it direct like I'm using it now, if I'm using it into the amp using this output here, I just use I can go down, patch down. I've got this preset here which is very dull, no amp modelling at all, but it has an effect and I can switch the effects on and off. I think that's a compressor. So I used to add reverb or chorus or something like that, so it saves me having to have a reverb pedal to go straight into an amp or another bit of delay. So it's really flexible system. I can go into an amp, I can go into the PA, doesn't really matter, it depends how I feel. Got lots and lots, probably too many tonal options, but it really makes things easier. I'm probably going to change all this again soon, but I hope this was useful and I hope you enjoyed it.